Hello, and welcome back to my channel. I am Adele Ashley, and I have another Bujo setup for you today. This time for a bit of Q4, just some like regular housekeeping stuff, and then going into my October setup. I'm actually starting this off with a new Toronto cat rescue spread. So if you saw my mid-year Bujo setup, you know that I put in a spread specifically for the volunteer position that I currently hold with Toronto Cat Rescue. I help cats find their forever homes, and I like to keep a record just for myself of all the cats who I have gotten adopted over the course of the year. So I started kind of like really documenting it at the beginning of this journal, my July to December spread, and I allocated one page for it. And as you can see there, that spread is completely full. I have a I am just kind of like in shock a little bit at how many there actually are that I've helped get adopted this year, but I needed to have a new page. So I used these Midori stamps that I have been eyeing for a little bit to put them in. I really like the Midori stamps because you could color them in, which is, if you do use stamps at all, you know how hard it is to like, you can't color them in per se, but you could use the Midori stamps, you stamp them on, and then you could like use the mild liners or whatever you want on them, and they don't bleed. And then I am just using those little cat stickers that I picked up a few months ago as well in like January or February, just to write the name of the cat after it. So very similar to my original spread, just 2 pages this time, expanding it out a little bit, and just making sure that it's there. After that, I got into a spread that you guys have seen before, my fall bucket list. And I swear, if 2024 is going to be anything, it is a year that I discovered and used Chiyogami paper to death. This is another one that I had stashed away, exactly the last sheet that I've had stashed away. And I originally picked this up thinking that I might use it for July, do kind of like a Canada Day theme or something like that, and obviously didn't use it. And I think I really was only thinking Canada Day because it has all of the leaves on it, and those red ones kind of look like maple leaves. But I just opted against it, and the more I looked at it, the more I was like, you know what, this is kind of like a fall theme. So I opted to use it for my fall bucket list and my fall reading list, beginning of Q4. And essentially I just pulled out, used like a burgundy paper just to kind of like pull out a little bit of the colors that are in the paper, as well as to create a bucket list header there, pulling out some of the gold in the paper as well. And then in previous spreads, I have put it very like, I've put those boxes in for the Polaroids to go on very strategically, I guess you could say it, or like methodical. I'm very much like a straight line person. And they were like lined up 3 across the top, 4 across the bottom, straight lines, evenly spaced. And I actually decided for this spread to do it a little bit differently. I wanted them a little bit off-centered. I wanted it to look a little bit more scrapbooky as I was putting it in. So that's why you see me kind of playing around a little bit with the placement of them and kind of tilting them a little bit. So still very much 3 on top, 4 on bottom. There's no other way really to fit all those Polaroids in. But I did want it to be, once it's filled or semi-filled, to be a little bit kind of scrapbooky, I guess you could say, or like a little bit off center. And then after that, I moved into my fall books spread. So using that Chiyogami paper again, and just trimming it up around the edges. And it's so funny. I have so many people who ask me like, how do you do this? Like, what products do you use? And assume that I spend a lot of money on like stuff. But when you really look at it, like that books, I wrote it on with a gold Sharpie, which I think is like $2. So as much as I have some specialized tools that I might use, like my corner cutter, which I got off Amazon, I think, and like the glue tape, also an Amazon purchase, there are some things that you could use to bullet journal with that are just like super cheap and super like there and available for you. And then, you know, the one product that works does heavy duty in my house is that Canon Ivy printer. But I have all my book titles for the month put out. Some of these obviously are coming out in September, like The Night We Lost Him by Laura Dave and The Most Famous Girl in the World are actually two books that I'm like currently reading right now. I started them right now. It's towards the end of September as I'm filming this voiceover, but I started reading the books a few weeks ago. And then just a whole bunch of other books that I'm looking forward to reading over the course of this year that are coming out. And then after that, I just dove into my Q4 content page. So in the past, I haven't really been using this page, but I keep going back to it and keep wanting to put it into the book. So my goal for the next 3 months is to actively use this page and double down on it and really just like focus on the things that I want to do. So you're going to start seeing that there's a little bit of like a brown theme coming out in my journal, both from like the fountain pen that I'm using as well as the Tombow Fidonescu pen that I'm using, and the mildliners as well. But essentially, I started by setting up the page the same way that I set up the Q4, like my Q3 page, my Q2 page, with focus, the months, and then the different areas that I'm working on there. But then I decided that I was actually going to do a calendar for each month. And this might seem a little bit redundant because I do have a content page in my monthly spreads that I really, really enjoy doing. But the reasoning behind putting it in my Q4 content is because I wanted to have like a very, I guess, kind of like bird's eye view of what's going on. So I know that content can go there. I could start planning it out a little bit more. It's a full calendar. So really my plan was that in the box, I was just going to write down like quite literally what I am doing. And then you see where I wrote YouTube, Instagram, and podcast on the side. It's really for me to track analytics. So like, this is what you started at and this is what you ended. This is how things went. I really just wanted it all kind of like really big at a glance, can look at it, because when I do my spreads in my like monthly setup, I don't really get as much detail as I can put if it's like a dedicated section and page. And the plan really is to like use these pages, sketch them out, put everything that's there, know that I have sometimes, or I'm planning to hopefully have multiple things happening on the same day. And as you can see there, I have October, November, and December are all there. I have 3 months full that I can fill with content. I also then have my content ideas page. So I did grapple with whether or not I was going to move this page into this book again. It is two pages, and I do have a content ideas page from earlier in the year that's still full, still has room, but wanted it all in one place. After that, I jumped into my October setup. So as you can tell, this is very much a calendar heavy setup so far, after doing those 3 months for content. But for October, I opted to do a really big calendar across the top of front of the page. I have been loving my September calendar. I don't normally do calendars as like my cover page with lots of room to write in them, but for September, I have been loving it. It's the space that I need. I love that I can open it up at a glance and see like activities that I'm looking to do, things that I have planned, just kind of everything could be living there on that page. So I opted to do it again for the month of October. So really just writing the dates in with the calendar there, lots of room so that I could add in information about like activities or stuff that I'm doing. For example, I know that on October 19th, I'm going to a stationery show. So I have the room there for that as well. And then just kind of like track what is going on day to day at a glance, events, stuff like that. Yeah, keeping it simple, I guess you could say. And then throughout the spread, I'm actually using this sticker sheet that I picked up at the beginning of the year from the Wednesday Co. So they came to a stationery show in Toronto. It's a Bronx-based business, but she came to a stationery show in Toronto, and I picked up these stickers, and you would have seen them in my merch setup spread as well. Stickers from her, but it is so hard for me to find stickers of people that actually represent who I am. There's not a lot of BIPOC stickers out there on the market. A lot of the time you will see Asian influences, or you will see people who are like white kind of, and it's just like, I just want to see myself represented in a sticker that I am putting in my book so deeply. So the Wednesday Co. Kind of holds my heart. I know they are coming back to the stationery show that I'm going to later this month, and I am fully planning on buying like as much stickers as I possibly can from her at that time, because I do like seeing myself in stickers in my book, which is also a reason why you guys don't see me using a lot of stickers with people in it, because it doesn't represent me. So also, if you know anyone who is making stickers that like BIPOC stickers, please let me know, because I will purchase all of them. But on this spread, essentially I am setting up my like month at a glance page, I guess you could call it. So focus, goals, 3 things, and a little bit of a calendar again. And then I am putting my habit spread there. So the 6 things that I will be focusing on for habits. And then I'm also including mood. So, you know, mood is not something that I tracked before. I think the first time I put it in my journal was maybe July, maybe August, but I have come to really enjoy like the mood spread in my book. I don't know what it is. It's just kind of clicked for me recently. I don't know if it's because I'm really stressed out. A lot of things are happening. I'm feeling very like kind of like tumultuous, and I'm trying to track and figure out what exactly that is. But the mood spread has actually helped so much. So I did want to pick 4 colors that kind of like made sense for the moods, but also went along with my general theme. So you saw me kind of like figuring out my different mild liners there. But essentially for each day, I'm just going to color in the block, and I can see kind of what my mood was like from start to finish for the month, and notice if there's any kind of like trends. Like every Wednesday I want to cry. After that, I got into that content spread again. So this one was just very similar to previous ones that you have seen me set up. The reason why I'm including it again, even though it does feel a little bit redundant, is my plan is for my content spread that's in the month to still highlight. So on the left side of the page, highlight stuff that is going out obviously that month. So I would write like, you know, October 2nd, we are posting about X, or on Sunday, we're going to talk about books. And then the right side of the page where I put everything that I'm hoping to create that month. And very specifically, I have to say like that month. So I want to get into the phase where I'm a little bit ahead of the things that I want to do, because I have all these ideas in my head, but I'm not actually like executing them sometimes until the day I want to post them or the day after. And it's just not good forward planning for me, which anyone who knows me knows I'm a planner. So content spread is really in the month is really focused on what I'm going to be doing for the next month. And then another spread that I really enjoy recently is my memory spread. So this is also a new spread for me. It's kind of started on a whim. I just had a few extra pages I wanted to fill up in a journal, and it's quickly become one of the pages that I love the most. I re-included it in my September spread because I didn't include one in August. And I just realized that this is something that I cherish so much. I love the ability to look back at it, and it gives me the opportunity to highlight moments that wouldn't necessarily make it into my like year in picture spread. it's the really simple moments. It's the really things that I just did and I loved and I kind of want to remember. So that is what I'm using these memory spreads for. I'm also kind of like movies, shows, books that I am reading, loving, stuff like that. And then I got into my weekly spreads. So this is where you start seeing those stickers of the girls coming out a lot more. My weekly spread, I am doing yet another different one, which I'm so excited for, to see how this works out and if it is something that I end up like truly loving. So essentially I am doing boxes, as you can see, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on the left-hand side, and then Thursday through Sunday is going to be on the right-hand side of the page. The top box there obviously is like a title, so for the day of the week. And then underneath that, I am planning on writing like any tasks I need to do for the day. And then the bottom box, so like that third box down there, is going to be like a time calendar. So literally counting like from, I think I did from 7 a.m., but like from this time to this time, and writing in, from 7 a.m. So doing from like 7 to 8 a.m. and writing like, this is the time I'm at work and I have this appointment scheduled then, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. It is a spread. I was going through like my Pinterest board of inspiration, and I have seen spreads like this so many times and I've saved them, but I have never actually done one. So really interested in seeing kind of like how it all plays out and if it's something that I like. And then I'm just using those pictures of those girls kind of throughout the spread as well for a little bit of interest. So doing my flip through, I love how this all came out. It's funny, I had someone ask me how long it takes me to do these, and this one from like Toronto Cat Rescue to the end of the weeklies honestly took me about, I want to say 6 hours. I did take some breaks in the middle. I did have a conversation with someone else. Like I wasn't like fully in it while I was doing it, but sometimes I can like bang them out and record them. It's about 2 hours of footage. But about, I'd say maybe an additional hour, hour and a half of prep work ahead of time as I like sketch it all out. So yeah, that essentially is my setup. I love how it worked out. I love all the stickers that I used throughout it. And I'm just excited to kind of like get into it and see what I do for the rest of the month. So if you like this, please follow, please like. You can always chat with me on Instagram or send me a message here. And until next time, I hope you guys have just a really great October and a great rest of the day. But until then, I'll chat with you later. Bye.